Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, April 15th. This is Emily Freitag with Instruction Partners. Today, as cases continue to rise and states continue to lengthen social distancing, another round of states have declared that they are out for the balance of this academic school year. This includes the state of Tennessee, my state of residence, and I have been reporting on this as a growing number of states have been making these decisions, but it now does feel more real as I walk this journey with leaders here. And I think on the one hand, it is actually at some level liberating. Uncertainty is very challenging, and at least we now know. On the other hand, it feels like it is just a new mountain of pressure. And for many leaders, I know it feels like it now is going to be harder than ever to imagine productively engaging students, families, and faculty in the balance of this year. As a parent, and I'm sure a similar feeling for students, it feels like a great loss, a loss of culture and moments that we were looking forward to. But we know from too much data and research that it is a significant loss of opportunity for many, many students. And so as we look to the balance of this year, while it is challenging to envision new ways of supporting learning, I actually think now more than ever is the time to say, we know that it is our job as educators to ensure children are prepared for their future. And we don't know how to do it, but we are going to find a way, and we are not going to stop until we do. So the school may not be resuming in person. However, we will go on with our learning, and we will support you in being prepared for the next grade and for your lives to come. This is hard. This is hard to even begin to think of how we do. I do think there are answers in community. And I think the truth is that it is going to continue to be hard. We are starting to see that based on public health data, there really are likely 4 chapters to this crisis. And we are in the chapter where schools are fully closed. We will be in that chapter until it is safe for some to re-enter and to lift restrictions that are guarding our healthcare system. That will likely be after we have gotten through the crunch of the healthcare load, and once there is significant testing, contact tracing, and likely an antibody test. No one knows, is that going to be in the next month, or is it many months away? Once those things are in place, we can begin to re-engage. Although during the chapter that follows, those who are at risk or live with those at risk will likely need to continue to be very careful. That will continue to be true until there is a vaccine or a scalable treatment. Best estimates for that place a vaccine in the 12 to 18 month timeline, certainly for mass scaling of a vaccine. And so that points to what could be a very long chapter of what we're calling reentry. This reentry chapter, if we can even begin to believe it, may in fact be even more challenging than schools being fully closed. We could imagine that students who are at risk or live with those who are at risk may not be able to come back to school while others are. So schools may in fact be partially reopened, partially closed. And we do think that there will need to be significant public health measures within schools to ensure the health and safety of students and their families. That can look like any number of things. It could look like students need to have their temperature taken every day. It could need to look like structuring the day differently so that we're limiting the number of other people students are interacting with. It could look like physically distancing desks, so much so that you might not even be able to have all students in school at the same time. There may need to be some classes on one day, others on another. Students and teachers may need to wear masks. And as there are any cases of community spread, it could lead to rolling school closures that would send us back into this first crisis chapter. So reimagining school for the next year will continue to be incredibly challenging. During the recovery, after there is a vaccine, we can look forward to being fully back together in person and community, but we know too that there will be continued school budget constriction. That may be true for years to come. And then we can also look forward to a new normal. I do think we will never be the same after this. We will learn things that we can incorporate into how we operate moving forward. It can make us stronger in some ways, but it will also leave wounds. And right now, I think those come in the form of grief over what we are losing and fears for our children and our colleagues. As these chapters unfold, we do think they will require different models of school and different solutions at each chapter. We have put out a number of solutions in the crisis chapter: the grab and go instructional materials, leadership toolkits, distance learning models, and hierarchy of needs. As we look to reentry, we will seek to continue to do the same, anticipating what is coming. I think in particular, we are starting to really think about recovery and what are the learning models that we will need when we get to that moment. This is nothing but a challenging time, and it will continue to be so. It will likely continue to be so for some time. We are deeply inspired by the examples of innovation that we're seeing across teachers and principals and system leaders. We are inspired by the significant acts of increasing access and food and safety. And we know that there is a great deal we can learn together. Ultimately, I think educators are exceptionally resourceful, and we will find solutions to hard problems. But to start, we do have to confront that we are in a challenge and that it is up to us as leaders to step up to that. We are here. Let us know how we can help and what you are learning, and if there's anything we can share. One step at a time together.